Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. There's a lot of information I want to get through today, so we're just going to get cracking. I wanted to start with this one from John Deaton. It says, I'm not retweeting any news or claims unless it's verified. There is so much FUD right now, some true, of course, but some of it is misinformation and some of it is disinformation because some people just want to see it all burn. And that's just the cold hard truth. On this channel, we do our best to try to report, obviously with, verifiable and trustworthy people within the industry report. But we're trying to just bring out a conversation in regards to what's happening within the industry. So there may be stuff that we talk about on this channel, whether it's in this video or other videos, that may not be verifiable or completely true. And I make sure that it's apparent when I do speak on it. But I do like to bring out, as much information as I possibly can. And I think it's interesting to start a conversation about. So I want to shout out John Deaton for saying that because it's true. There's a lot of stuff that's going out there, and there's just people out there that really just want things to burn down, and which they don't really come from facts or stem from facts, but there is a lot of facts still out there. Coming in over here, this was from yesterday. It says Crypto Vinco says, just in, Sam Bankman-Fried and 2 FTX executives currently being detained by authorities in the Bahamas. More stuff on Sam Bankman-Fried stuff. So it's just in, this from Watcher Guru. FTX owed $9 billion in liabilities while holding under $1 billion in assets prior to bankruptcy filing. I mean, look at that. Owed $9 billion in liabilities and only had under $1 billion in assets. Dang, man. And there's been conversations about this is just the beginning. We're anticipating on, hurting a lot more, bleeding a lot more in the markets. There's going to be a lot of more, as we say on this channel, there's going to be a further ripple effect in regards of the negativity, the FUD, just the negative narrative that's going to cascade across our industry. So, hold on strong out there. And like I'll tell you all the time, be safe out there and stay strong because things aren't really looking too great for us in the short term here. This is from the gatewaypundit.com. It says, breaking, exclusive tens of billions of US dollars were transferred to Ukraine, and then using FTX cryptocurrency, the funds were laundered back to Democrats in the US. So there's a great illustration that I'm going to pull up next here, right here from, it says CRCZ. And it's kind of showing you this this cycle here. And they're talking about laundering the money. So you got FTX to the Democrats to Ukraine. Quite interesting. There's been a lot of speculation on this right here. It says breaking exclusive. Tens of billions of US dollars were transferred to Ukraine and then using FTX currency, pretty much what we just said, to fund funds were laundered back to the Democrats in the US. So just a lot more shady stuff. And then to even make things a little bit more complex, where's it at? I think we're going to come to it. So right here, they were talking about this is like the FTX corporate structure, but then there was other people who were tweeting other diagrams of just like the involvement in the as they say, Sam Bankman-Fried's and FTX's tentacles were in a lot of different things. So that's why they're saying like there's going to be an ongoing cascading effect that's going to bleed out our market. So we'll see. Only time will tell how things unfold, but things aren't looking too great. And we're not sitting here to, to spread more FUD or to spread more fear. It's just concern and put your antennas up and really protect yourself out here. Me personally, I'm going to continue to accumulate what I can, hodling strong, being in solid projects, that I've vetted based on my own research and what I understand of the space. So quite honestly, I'm here to stay. I've been here since 2017. So we've been through a lot of shady stuff within the markets. This obviously is a big deal, but they're not going to scare me away. So that's just me in my opinion. Coming over here, it's John Dean has a great thread here. It says, what some people fail to understand is that the point here isn't that there is some grand conspiracy. The point is that Sam Bankman-Fried bought access to regulators through money and his family's political connections. Ask yourself something. Why did Sam Bankman-Fried have such access? Coming down here, he continues. FTX was an offshore exchange. Why was Sam Bankman-Fried leading the policy debate? Why was he test lying before Congress? Coinbase is the largest exchange in the United States and is a publicly traded company that has been attempting to work with the SEC. So we've been talking about that in the past when they were shot down by the SEC when they tried to do their lending platform. It says, John Deaton continues, in fact, Coinbase has a broker-dealer's license, yet Brian Armstrong was shut out, threatened to be sued over Coinbase's Lend product. The CEO of the largest exchange in the U.S. was denied meetings. He even tweeted out his frustrations. Kraken, why not talk to them? In the meantime, Kevin O'Leary and others rushed to join Sam Bankman-Fried, and now those people are demanding we rush legislation because an offshore exchange collapsed because of theft. Our political leaders' solution is to push legislations co-written by the man that stole $10 billion of consumer money. We need to ask why Sam Bankman-Fried was giving priority and access. Right now, I tend to lean toward him being the second biggest donor to those in power and his political connections. Go ahead, call me a conspiracy theorist all you want. If Gensler has nothing to hide, release everything. And just that statement alone, I think is very powerful because it's the truth. If you have nothing to hide, put it out there so we can move on and go after, and seek justice elsewhere in this regard. But we'll see. Only time will tell what will happen. That's a great tweet thread by John Deaton there. This is from David Schwartz or Joel Katz. So he's responding to this Autism Capital, says, from a BlockFi employee, quote, the only reason FTX bailed us out was to get our users' funds onto their platform to use in their shell game. They applied immense pressure to get BlockFi funds migrated to FTX custody. Employees were told by executives not to ask questions about the move. David Schwartz says, more accusations and evidence of outright evil are coming out. I mean, yeah, that's an understatement. John Dean says, every time I see this, I experience true rage. One of my clients, a named XRP holder granted amicus status in Ripple case, has some BTC and ETH on BlockFi's platform. What does this person regret the most? He or she recommended BlockFi to a friend. Evil is the right word. Absolutely. And Brian, BitBoy Crypto, he literally hit it on the head when he called him Sam Bankman-Fried and the like evil. When I had made that video, I think it was like a week ago or something, when he had that outburst and rage in his one of his podcasts. It's so true. I mean, he hit it on the head. It was nuts. But yeah, obviously I put this up. This is it says Alexander Lishman says Sam Bankman-Fried's father was an expert in tax shelters and a professor at Stanford Law. On an entirely unrelated note, this is the FTX corporate structure. So just saying how pretty much dialed in this thing looks, and this is just kind of one diagram here. John Deaton says, anyone who thinks Sam Bankman-Fried created this shell structure on his own is being naive. Subpoenas and preservation of evidence letters should already be going out to anyone close to Sam Bankman-Fried, which I 100% agree. And quite honestly, if you're those individuals that were close to him or that were, in business with him, whether you're a CEO or exchange, if you want to protect yourself, in my opinion, you would think that you would come out and give as much evidence as you can. Like, hey, here's kind of what we were talking about. Here was the deals and we were negotiating. Here's what I'm a part of, to kind of protect yourself. When it comes to these so-called whistleblowers and kind of people coming out, I'm sure it's happening under the radar, especially there's been talks of like the FBI and stuff getting involved. Things are going to get crazy, man, especially we're going to be covering it later, the involvement of our current chairman of the SEC and stuff like that. It's nuts. When we've been talking about on this channel, when this documentary, when they make a movie about like, it's not even just about ETHgate. We're talking about just the crypto space in general and all the shady, scandal and as we say, ETHgate stuff and just the free passes and all these secret meetings and behind closed door deals and all these things. Once this happens, and I hope the right people get access to all the information so they can create a great movie or documentary, it is going to be unbelievable. Because as much as this stuff is like terrible to be a part of, first of all, especially if you're a true victim, meaning like, you lost everything on the platform or you've been, rug pulled. I've been rug pulled. I've had a lot of negative things that are happening to me in this market, and it does not feel great. So if truly being a victim within this space, I can really empathize with all those out there that have been hurt, especially by this Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX stuff. But once that really comes out and really sheds light on what's happened within this industry and how everything unfolds, it's going to be completely interesting. And I'm not, downplaying what's been happening in the industry. There's been people who's lost their lives and lost their, life savings and everything, just true devastation. And that shouldn't be taken lightly. But all of this shady stuff and how it's all being put together by, a decentralized community. It is so intriguing, and I'm so excited to see how things unfold. And I really hope that we get to see most, if not all, of the information out there, which I highly doubt. Obviously, some stuff is going to be classified and hidden and suppressed, yada, yada. But to get the true, overwhelming, bigger picture, the full picture, it's going to be quite interesting. All right, my rant's over. Let me continue on here. This from Ben Armstrong. Sam Bankman-Fried was bad, one of the worst financial frauds in history, but there is one person worse than him, one person who actually responsible for everything we have seen this week. This man is Gary Gensler. He has intentionally provided zero clarity in crypto. That's why you lost. Dang. And look, Jeremy Hogan says the president can remove Chair Gensler for quote unquote neglect of duties, among other things, for your information. And I had missed something in this one I want to cover. So we were talking about this structure, and he was saying, John Deaton was talking about how if you think Sam Bankman-Fried created this shell structure on his own, you're being naive. And then Ben says, I know who did it. Oh boy. I mean, Ben Armstrong's been saying that he has enough to really put a lot of people away. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how things roll out with him and his work. So shout out Big Boy Crypto for that. This is from Fortune. It says, Gary Gensler blew it again after his agency failed to warn investors about Terra and Celsius, whose collapse is spring sparked a $1 trillion investor wipeout. The SEC chair allowed an even bigger debacle to unfold right under his nose. So this is the same chairman that's, bragging and gloating about, they brought, they won a case against Library, a very small company in relation to kind of what's happening. And obviously there's an ongoing litigation and case against Ripple. This is what taxpayer dollars are going to. Legitimate companies that are transparent and trying to do things the right way, but they're not going after, companies like Terra and Celsius until after the fact. And, that's kind of like I'm just going to kind of creep over there and kind of assess what's going on. Instead of getting ahead of things, allocating taxpayer dollars to actual meaningful corruption. Crazy, man. So speaking of Chairman Gensler, there's a lot of stuff that's been talked about. So coming over here is from Warren Davidson. It says, at this point, it's hard to believe the SEC hasn't engaged in selective enforcement. We've been talking about that from the drop of the lawsuit against Ripple for sure. They work closely with the biggest entities like FTX for years while engaging in endless discovery requests. Clearly, Gensler and perhaps the SEC structure are not up to the task at hand. Absolutely. I had responded on this. I think I did. I guess I didn't put it on there. But yeah, clearly they're not. I mean, it's quite evident. They're literally dropping the ball. Matter of fact, let me see if I put it up here. Yeah, they literally dropped the ball. It's terrible. All right, it's not loading. But yeah. That is an understatement for sure. We definitely need somebody else in there to actually go after the bad actors within the industry and bring fairness and a level playing field to the space so it can flourish and do what it's set out to do and solve real world problems. Get rid of, 99% of the crap out there. You know what I'm saying? And bring true, fair, and just regulatory clarity into the space. This is from Digital Asset Investor responding to Warren Davidson. It says, if this is all the anger he can muster after what's been uncovered in Eastgate and now FTX, this country is screwed. Not one person in Congress has called for an investigation of any of it. Not one. And that's the cold, hard truth, man. I mean, it's just going to be a waiting game to kind of see what happens. I mean, we as the small investors are doing our part. And there's, people like, John Deaton, Eleanor Terrett, Charles Gasparino, big YouTubers like Digital Asset Investor, John Deaton, Big Boy Crypto, Brian Armstrong, and more. And, you also have Jason Foster and Empower Oversight. There's a lot of people out there that are truly fighting the good fight, but we need more. We need Congress as well. We need more people to band together and get on this ship. And let's take justice straight to the bad actors within the space. John Deaton is responding to Charles Gasparino's tweet here. It says, contrary to speculation about Gary Gensler looking to grant Sam Bankman-Fried a regulatory monopoly on crypto exchange with IEX, March meeting between the two sides were described by a person attending a, quote, 45-minute lecture by Gensler on what he wants from a crypto exchange. So John Deaton says Gensler should release all of the notes and emails and communications and nip this in the bud. If he wasn't close to a deal with Sam Bankman-Fried and has been suggested, then provide the info and Congress doesn't have to waste time and we can focus on smart, tailored legislation. Absolutely. That's what we just talked about. 100% agree with that. This is from Eleanor Terrett responding to Congressman Brad Sherman. So we put Brad Sherman in on his on video footage when he was literally blatantly saying Ripple and XR. He was saying pretty much down in Ripple and XRP, talking about XRP being clear security. Here goes something else he says the collapse of FTX, one of the largest cryptocurrency firms in the world, is a dramatic demonstration of both the inherent risks in digital assets and the critical weakness in the industry that has grown up around them. So just that alone, I mean, that pisses me off. Just seeing this. I mean, somebody sitting on their high horse. I mean, this is just, it's, first of all, I feel like it's truly insensitive to what's been the strong work that's been done out there in the community. It's insensitive to the people that's been hurt. And this is literally them taking the opportunity on this devastation to fulfill their narrative and agenda that they've been trying to push. It's crazy, man. Eleanor Terrett says, quote, I believe it is important now more than ever that the SEC take decisive action to put an end to the regulatory gray area in which the crypto industry has operated. She says, but what about when the SEC has directly contributed to making it a regulatory gray area? Absolutely, I agree. And I said, yeah, Brad Sherman, what about when the SEC has directly contributed to making it a regulatory gray area? And I put up that Cat Williams, don't worry, I'll wait. I mean, literally, this is literally how we feel. This is crazy. This is the United States. This is crazy. People have been talking about we've been behind the 8 ball, and it's quite evident, man. We are literally dropping the ball. It doesn't seem like we're on the right side of history at all in the United States, generally speaking, when it comes to crypto. It's crazy. This from Leonidas. It says, if all this scrutiny and resources devoted against Ripple were directed toward the real bad actors, this space would be miles ahead. The good thing is Ripple might be the most well inspected and scrutinized company operating in crypto right now. And I was actually talking to some of my really good friends when I was on the hoop court with them, and we were kind of just talking about what's been going on in the markets and stuff. And they asked me about crypto because I'm like one of the big crypto guys in our group. And I was talking about this, like, all this does further excite me about Ripple and XRP. Just in that one, that one company and that one digital asset, obviously I have more in my portfolio, but I was telling them how much, like, how much more I'm excited about it, how much more confidence it gives me with, the company, Brad Garlinghouse and the like, and then XRP, XRPL and so on, because of all this stuff that's been happening. Literally what he said here hits it on the head. I wish I could have said it just like this. I said, the good thing is Ripple might be the most well-inspected and scrutinized company operating in crypto right now. Only time will tell. I truly believe we're on the right side of the law, on the right side of history when it comes to Ripple and XRP, man. I'm really excited for what the future holds. Coming over here, this from Digital Asset Investor. He says, also, there was a Twitter Spaces massive one. I think it was like over 30,000 people that were recently in it. And Crypto Eddie had put up a video on it on YouTube as well. And, Brad Garlinghouse had showed up. It was just a Sunday. He was just kind of showing up, being a part of the community, and they brought him on. They skipped a lot of people that were wanting to talk and brought Brad up, and they were asking him about a bunch of different things. And it literally turned sour real quick when they were like almost hounding and attacking him about what Ripple and them are doing with their XRP that they sell. They were trying to act as if they were selling it to, small investors on the secondary market. And Brad was pretty much educating like, no, we only sell it to customers and we've been buying back. And they were trying to get like percentages and numbers and why they're doing this or that. It literally was a cringe. It turned very cringe. At first, I thought it was going to be a solid, hey, what do you think about FTX? What do you think about this or that? And it turned into like almost an attack, which was sickening. But Brad obviously handled himself. So this is what Digital Asset Investors talking about here. It says they attacked Brad Garlinghouse out of nowhere in the FTX Twitter spaces. It's never been more clear who the bad guys are in the space. None of them have ever questioned the ETH holdings of any of the outfits, but they are programmed to challenge Ripple on theirs. Coordinated, which I agree, man. I'm not speaking to particular the hosts or the interviewers or anything, but I'm saying it's been quite evident, since I've been in the space in 2017, which, I'm a little bit later than a lot of people that's big into Ripple and XRP, but it's been quite evident that there's a massive, agenda group and coordination that's been truly set out to attack Ripple, the company, and XRP, the digital asset. It's nuts, man. It just makes me more bullish. I'm not even going to lie. Stefan Huber says, is crypto man run that stupid, or is he pretending? Brad Garlinghouse explains that no one is as transparent as Ripple until today. No one knows how much ETH consensus sells. And then Ryan accuses Brad that Ripple is the only transparent because U.S. regulators are enforcing transparency, which is crazy because no one's forcing that. They do it because they say, Brad said it himself. He says, we truly believe that this is the right way to run a business. transparency. And when it came to them asking him, so, okay, last question, Brad, what do you think, they're pretty much saying like, what do you think about how do we kind of get past this type deal? I mean, I'm saying it wrong, but that's pretty much what they were kind of hinting at. And all he said was transparency. Transparency can truly save the day, save the space. Enough said. Brad Garlinghouse crushed it like he always does. I'm going to end on these last few here. This is from Mr. Intuitive, Troomers Only. Gary. He says, hey, Mario Narfall greeted Brad Garlinghouse today in the Twitter spaces. Glad we focused on FTX with a thumb down. So this is what I'm talking about. People were frustrated about this. This is supposed to be a conversation about what the shady stuff that's been happening with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, but it turned sour when they brought Brad on. Let's listen into this.
How the Twitter space went this morning. Hi, Brad. Thanks for taking time out of your valuable day to comment on how FTX stole billions of dollars from the people and happened to be a big political donor. But we don't need to talk about that. Let's talk about Ripple, who doesn't focus on the retail holder, who does not pump their price, who's been totally transparent, and who has zero allegations of fraud against them in the case brought by the SEC.
I mean, he crushed it with these videos, and that's straight up. Like, it was just interesting. Like, I literally was like cringing, like, oh, what is going on right now? Shout out Brad for always, handling business. And I want to show some love to you guys. Look at this. 1.02 thousand subscribers. I mean, we went from, I think we just hit over 500. We hit 600, right? Like a day and a half ago. This video right here, which was covering like what was happening, massive, 28,000 following. And I got so many subscribers. There was so much love said in my comments as well. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to reach out. You don't have to do that, and you do it anyways. I really appreciate that. And I love having the conversation. I'm going to do my best to continue to respond to you guys and continue to bring you great content. Remember, I'm no guru here. There was people that were kind of attacking me in the comments as well. I'm no guru, and I'm here to tell you, I'm just a father or two. I love, crypto. I'm heavily invested in it. I'm in this space every day. So I wanted to start a YouTube channel to just have a conversation and just talk about things. My friends weren't into the space as much as I am, and this is just another way for me to be involved into the community. And I love what I do here. And I'm glad a lot of you appreciate it and respect it as well. So I'm going to continue to bring you content. I'm just being genuinely me. I'm a human just like you, a dad, a man that makes mistakes. I lost a lot of money in this space. I've gained some money, and I've just learned a lot, and I'm here to stay in this space. So I'm really excited to see how things progress, and I really appreciate you guys. 1.02 thousand subscribers. That's huge. I'm excited to see what the future holds for this channel. And we're going to see a lot more changes as well when it comes to visuals and stuff. But that's what I have for you. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at CryptoIsKey1. I really appreciate your support. I genuinely do. I'm excited about the future. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.